Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family and students of the 8th grade, and welcome to the 8th grade Gateway Ceremony. Thank you very much for being here. Let's start with a round of applause for our graduates, for our team. So now it is our custom to start with a moment of silence, so let us enjoy a moment of quiet together. Zella, Sydney, Hannah, Jules, Kodo, Kobe, Clark, Gwen, Nayeli, Anna, Chloe, Javier, Fernando, Leon, and Charlie. This is an important time in your lives, and I congratulate you for earning your place on this stage. Our job has been to help you develop those skills you will need to enter the next chapter of your education, high school. And it certainly looks like you're ready. I know you've had some help along the way, so I would like to start by thanking all your teachers, Ron, Deborah, Karen, Elena, Aaron, Bo, Jake, and Mia, for their dedication in guiding you to and through this gateway. So a round of applause for your teachers. Thank you. Now I'd also like to thank you, family members and friends, who have supported these students on this wonderful journey from childhood to young adulthood. In particular, your parents and guardians who chose to join with us in this journey by sending you here to Oak Grove School. So thank you, parents and guardians. And finally, I would like to thank you, our students. We've enjoyed your hard work. We've enjoyed your inspired play, your moments of enthusiastic engagement and quiet reflection, and especially your wonderful talents, intellectual, artistic, musical, and personal, which you've been so generous in sharing with us. Thank you for modeling the arts of living and learning that are at the core of our mission, and I hope you will continue to embody them long into your future. Whether you are continuing on to high school with us or not, always remember, once a lizard, always a lizard. Please welcome to the podium Ron, Deborah, and Karen, ladies and gentlemen.
The 8th grade is a special year. Students are mastering essential skills for entering the world of high school. This year, students have grown not only academically, but in their abilities to complete tasks at hand, manage their time, navigate and maneuver social relationships, and physically they have changed before our very eyes. Voices are lowering, makeup adores faces, and the 8th grade class is no longer a group of boys and girls, but a group of young men and women.
It's with great pride that we take this time to honor the students in the 8th grade class of 2017. They have accomplished great feats, seen amazing things, been on great trips, and above all, grown as people. From camping in El Cap to braving the fierce cold weather of Moab, Utah, embracing the transition from childhood to adulthood in Matilaha Canyon, these students have given us many reasons to be proud.
Throughout this school year, we have shared amazing experiences and built lasting relationships. It has been an honor to work alongside these students, share in their learning and their growth, and it is with great pleasure that we introduce the first of the 8th graders, the class of 2017 at Oak Grove School. We invite you now to share your thoughts. Without further ado.
Fernando. Fernando's energy and compassion have enriched the junior high experience. He embraces life and brings laughter and entertainment to everyone he approaches. Fernando has a strong mind, which he balances with huge heart. There is no doubt that Fernando is ready for the next step in his life, and that his love for soccer will continue forever.
Hello, my name is Fernando Aguirre. I'd like to share the story of one of the best years of my life. This school year was full of new experiences and adventures that have touched me forever. Some good, others challenging. When my brothers attended to Oak Grove 2 years ago, I always wondered what Oak Grove would actually be like. My brothers warned me Ojai was a town full of hippies and that Joy will probably get me to drink Kevita or kombucha by the end of the year. They were right. I grew up in Mexico City, the fourth largest popularity city in the world, and landed in Ojai. A population of less than 7,500. Clearly, a lot of cultural differences. One of the changes that I faced through this year was having to do chores at home. In Mexico, it's normal to have help at your house. I have 2 nannies that wash dishes, cook whatever I want, clean my room, pick up after me, and all that stuff. In Ojai, I help around the house, and I'm grateful that I got to learn how to do all that stuff, because now I can take care of myself, help others, and know that I can do anything I put my attention to. When I first arrived to Ojai, I was really homesick, and I just wanted to be with my family. After a while, I started to enjoy the year. At the beginning, it was challenging for me to make friends, and that frustrated me. The fall of the trip to El Capitan and days on the beach was a game changer that helped me make connections with most of my classmates. Moab was another great outdoor experience that sealed those connections. To be honest, I didn't want to go to Utah, but I ended up having the best time. I'll never forget getting to know Deborah in a different way and the sunset hike with Kobe by the river. Sitting and sharing stories with a friend while watching the sunset over the beautiful Utah mountains was incredible. So much happened this year that I can't possibly tell all the great adventures in my 2-minute speech time. Highlights include Disneyland and California adventure with my Ojai family, sleepovers at Kobe's, tennis tournaments. By the way, Mom and Dad, I'm taking a lot of trophies home. Hear about amazing quesadilla caution from Clark and PE classes. It is really the people that made this an amazing year. Thank you, Rick, for running with me early Wednesday mornings before school and being my tennis coach. You're the best coach I have ever had. Joy, you're one of the kindest people I have ever met. Thank you for always being there when I needed you and driving us all over the place. Ron, thank you for being the best math teacher. I really enjoy our long soccer talks. Deborah, you're one of the best teachers I have ever had in my life and have always been supportive with me. Bo, thank you for making PE the best class. I enjoy practicing soccer with you. Karen, my heart is smarter because of you. Me and Aaron, thank you for exposing me to do all things artistic that I was not naturally inclined to. Elena, thank you so much for everything you did for me this year. I'll miss you a lot. Lolly, thank you for being like my grandma. I admire you so much. Brewster, you're the oldest big brother that I wish I had for. Cindy and Viviana, Nina wapenda kamada sangu, which means I love you like my sisters in Swahili. Jules, thank you for showing me what it's like to have sisters. Papá y mamá, gracias por esta oportunidad que me dieron. Fue un año increíble y sin ustedes no hubiera sido posible. Los admiro y los quiero mucho. Javier, gracias por ser el mejor hermano. Siempre estás ahí cuando te necesito. Andrés Íñigo, gracias por todo lo que hacen por mí. Los quiero mucho. Kodo, Kobe, Cassius, Nayeli, and Hina. Thank you for being such great friends. I have always felt I can count on you, and I will miss you. In closing, I just want to say for Ron's sake that Mexico soccer rules. Thank you.
Javier came to us with his brother from Mexico, as his twin brothers came to us a few years ago. We have come to be as family with our sons from Mexico. Javier has brought many dimensions to his classmates and teachers. First, your piercing intellect, getting to the point of the matter, please. Second, his constant sense of sarcastic humor. Third, his indomitable willingness to try new things. And fourth, his outgoing and friendly heart and outlook. No doubt you will carry the deep joy and love you found here, back home.
If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. Quote by Thompson. Hello. My name is Javier. I was born and raised in Mexico City. When my parents first told me that I was going to Oak Grove for 1 year, I was not happy with the idea. I am a kid that likes being at home and also being with my parents, aka mama's boy. After that day, I dream about it almost every day. Actually, it was more of a nightmare. My mom told me that it was a great opportunity, but I didn't see it that way. Well, I lived my comfortable, predictable life. When I came to visit, I liked it, but I wasn't convinced it was good enough to leave my family. I remember the first day of school. I didn't know anybody other than Jules, and I was sitting on the junior high deck with my brother. And we said that if every day was going to be like that, it would be the worst year of our lives. After a few months at Oak Grove, I started to like it. It changed my mind. The people here helped me a lot. They made me feel like I was home. Oak Grove gave me opportunities to grow. It made me like being around nature, and I had plenty of chances at El Capitan, Moab, and Matilaha Canyon. I also learned that camping's not that bad. Oak Grove helped me learn that being who you are is good, and the world needs to know who you really are. I am more independent, and now I also know that I can survive having 3 sisters. This is not easy feat. In my year in Ojai, I made memories that I will never forget, like burgers and shakes at Hi-Ho every Friday, golf tournaments, my Chancer Upper days, and of course memories with friends like sleepovers at Kobe's house, our late night trips to Circle K, and all the jokes we made. Now I'd like to thank you people. Mamá y papá, gracias por darme esta oportunidad de siempre estar ahí cuando los necesitaba. Los quiero y admiro mucho. Fernando, gracias por ser el mejor hermano del mundo. Siempre estuviste ahí cuando te necesitaba. Inigo y Andrés, gracias por siempre acompañarme. Elena, thank you for always helping me. I will miss you. Ron, thank you for always making math and science fun to learn. Deborah, thanks to you, I now know I can memorize and recite 2 pages of medieval stories. Karen, I never knew being heart smart was a thing. Now I do. Thank you. Bo, thank you for being the best PE teacher I've ever had. I know that you want to hear this, but Mexico is going to beat the U.S. on Sunday. Thank you, Mr. Complete, or whatever your name is. Rick, even with my resistance, you have the greatest track record of getting me to exercise regularly. Thank you. Cindy and Viviana, no matter what, you never give up. That inspires me. I was very lucky to have you as sisters this year. Jules, you have been my friend and sisters, and even though you drive me crazy, I will miss you and I love you. Loli, Jem, and Buster, you accepted me as family and I'm lucky to know you. Joy, no matter what, you're there for me. And even though I don't want to admit it, I will never forget your poetic words and favorite sayings. Because nice matters and do all things with love. Danny Ortiz, thanks for being my only friend at tennis. I will miss going to Hi-Ho with you. To all my friends and classmates, thank you for being you and making this year memorable. Thank you.
Wait, a lot shorter.
Zella Henderson is truly comfortable with herself, a confident, engaging young lady. Her energetic personality and love and laughter has added so much to the junior high. Plus, we count on her to keep us all up to date on with the latest scoop of what's happening. There's no doubt that Zella will bring her positive attitude to all of her achievements in the future.
The power of imagination makes us infinite. John Muir. Hello, I'm Zella. I just read you that quote because I think it signifies my journey at Oak Grove School in so many ways. Every day is a new day, and almost every day I'm excited to come to school. I am so grateful to say that this place has been my home for 10 years. It would take so long to retell all the memories I've created in this incredible place, but the most vivid memories in each grade are Krista in our song Just Give Me a Reason, Deborah in the Bye-Bye Fairy, Jim in the freezing cold Sespe Wilderness, our adventures in Wyoming with Rosalind, Maya Price Baldwin, and Susie, our stage 1 hypothermia in Moab, and jumping through a hula hoop in kindergarten. I feel that the camping trips at OGS are key to having an amazing experience here. The music program at Oak Grove has helped me learn 2 instruments and expand my love of music to all new kinds of varieties. Art at OGS with Christy and Mia have taken my love of art to a whole new and different level, and we have experimented with many different mediums. At this school, I have learned so much about becoming a family and caring about one another. Words could not describe how much I love everyone here. From stealing teacher snacks in the main house with Chloe and Hannah to sitting in Andy's office for hours, Oak Grove has enlarged my love of learning to a classroom, to learning anywhere at Oak Grove. One of my favorite parts of the day comes down to PE. Bo has taught me so many new sports and games like Ultimate Frisbee, which I used to dislike very much, and now I love it. My class makes me laugh every single day. I know that I've made some long-lasting forever friends here, and I want forever friends here. I want to thank my teachers for giving me a lifetime experience, for opening my eyes into a whole new kind of learning. Krista, you are an amazing teacher, and your love of reading was passed on to me. Deborah, thank you so much for expanding my vocabulary and being an amazing teacher for the 3 years of my life. Thank you, Ron, for stretching my love of math to a whole new level. Thank you, Jim, for big history and laying on a bed of nails. Thank you, Aaron, Christy, Mia, Elena, Karen, and last but not least, Mr. Clumpy, and all of his cousins for making me laugh every time I see you guys. Thank you to my princess sister Liv and my sweet little brother Coda for encouraging me to love reading. Thank you to my amazing mother for expanding my imagination to one wild and free. Every math problem you helped me with, Dad, I love and really appreciate. It has been an experience that I could never have done without you guys. I love you so much. Thank you to my amazing cousin Hannah for making me try so hard at any commitment that I make. Thank you to Fliss for spending hours with me discussing our future plans together. I love you so much, my Flissy. Thank you, Sid, for always being by my side. Thank you, Kobe, for being my twin. And thank you, everyone in my class, for making it a lifetime experience. Throughout my time at OGS, this quote has come up many times. Be yourself because everyone else is taken. Oscar Wilde. Next year, I'll not be returning Oak Grove School. I'll be attending Ojai Valley School, although Oak Grove will never be removed from my heart. Thank you everyone else who has been in these last amazing years with me in this beautiful place that we can call our home forever. I hope that everyone has an amazing future ahead of them.
Coda brings laughter and entertainment during class, on trips, or whenever you are within reach. Coda's playful personality ensures that he is a compassionate and enjoyable friend, and he has learned to balance academics and play this year. There is no doubt that Coda will continue to bring joy to those around him in the years to come.
I've been at Oak Grove since kindergarten, and I'm about to leave. Comparing this school to any other wouldn't be possible for me. Not because this school is particularly special, but because I really haven't been to any other school. There are lots of memories that I'm going to be taking with me. The teachers at Oak Grove are very nice, and they all have their own personality. They seem to want to balance between friend and foe, like Jim Bailey, who, whenever we stayed after school, would be making jokes and laughing with us. He's one of my favorite teachers for keeping the entire class entertained with science when big history project wasn't taking up our time. I also got to enjoy Deborah as a teacher for 3 years. Her being another one of my favorite teachers, I was definitely happy to see a familiar face entering junior high. Erin is the only teacher that I've had every year since first grade, and I've always enjoyed music class with her. Erin, you've always been my favorite music teacher. Some of my favorite moments were from camping trips that would go on in Oak Grove. Like more recently, falling from a waterfall, which wasn't as bad as it sounds, and when the rest of the class left behind on Karen's trip, or left me behind on Karen's trip, I stayed and ate s'mores. On the El Capitan trip, I liked going on a secret path that was just a loop that me and my friends would take and walk on. Sycamore biscuits were one of my favorite camping snacks that Karen made. And they're probably going to be my most missed camping food. Only second to Velveeta, of course, which has a whole song that goes with it, and it's actually made from unicorn, vegetarian unicorn, of course. While my class is generally rather small, I've found really good friends here at Oak Grove. Some who share my love for computers, and some who brought me away from them. The friends that I made will always be here, even when I leave. I know my Oak Grove family will still be intact. I always kind of thought I would go here for high school, but right now I'm happy to be leaving. I've been at Oak Grove for so long that I want to change. I may find that that was what I wanted, or I might find that being at Oak Grove is very special, but I won't know until I have something to compare it to, and who knows, maybe I'll go here for high school after all. Thank you to my friends, my teachers, my family, and everyone who's ever met me for putting up with me.
Can we move the mic closer? It's kind of hard to hear. I need everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Clark. He was born to sing and play musical instruments, born to write exquisitely and to speak eloquently. Clark was born to find stuff out and to enjoy the mysteries of science and math. Clark was born to be a good friend, to tell stories, to delight with puzzles and riddles. Clark's common sense, strength of character, willingness for adventure will nourish him throughout his life. There's no doubt he will succeed with all the endeavors of high school.
Whenever you leave behind failure, that means you're doing better. If you think everything you've done has been great, you're probably dumb. Louis C.K. I've been at Oak Grove for a total of 11 years. That's 36,126,000 seconds since first grade alone. I have gone many places with this class, from the snowy hills of Wyoming to the red plateaus of Utah. And while I myself will be continuing my high school education at Oak Grove, it is sad to see some of the people I've known since kindergarten leave. One of my favorite memories that I've had here was in the 4th grade, when we performed a play about the gold rush. I was the crook, who would always try to steal everybody's gold. Me and all the other people that were in that play still remember most of the songs and sing them today. Another time was in 6th grade, and we participated in Greek Olympics. We competed in such events as javelin throwing and shot put. After all that, we played Greek Jeopardy, and my team won. Even with all these great experiences, my years in the junior high have by far been the best. Not just with education, but exploring what I love to do. I've started some cubing, some magic, bass guitar, and even making gourmet quesadillas. Learning in the junior high has also been amazing. My teachers, Ron, Deborah, and Karen, have made learning fun with science fairs, projects, and general enthusiasm. The junior high is also where I've met many people, such as my BBFFI, BTI, BTI, BTF, that guy, and Fernando, who specifically asked to be in my speech. I've actually never been to any school but Oak Grove, so I don't have much to compare it to, but I've heard a lot of people say they like the learning environment, I think. Okay, now on to the thank yous. First of all, I would like to say thank you to my parents for putting up with my general attitude and supplying me with ground beef to make myself hamburgers after school. Thank you to my 2 sisters, Emily and Gwen, for supporting me through my music, quesadilla, and cubing endeavors. Thank you to my BBFFI, BPI, BTI, BTF for being my BBFFI, BPI, BTI, BTF. Thank you to Cassius and Naeli. They'll never be cool enough for us. Thank you, Charlie, for always playing awesome music and making me smile. Kobe, for sharing similar tastes in comedy and always telling jokes to make me laugh. Thank you, Leon, for always reminding me that the words I try to say in German aren't real words. Thank you, Kodo, for being here since kindergarten and always being a friend. And thank you to all my other friends for always taking me to Flavortown. Aaron, for teaching me basically all I know about music and helping me become a better musician. Bo, for letting us play lacrosse and making us school super fun at the end of the day. And Aaron again, for being an amazing Spanish teacher. I'd also like to thank and blame Oak Grove for turning me into the person I am today. Oak Grove so far hasn't been a school, but more of an experience with a side of learning. Ka-chow.
Sydney Russo sets high expectations for herself and is a self-motivated learner, always paying attention to details and deadlines. Her calm energy and compassion have enriched the junior high experience. Though she possesses subtleties, this has given way to her finding her inner strength and her voice, and her personal growth this year has been amazing. There is no doubt that Sydney's huge capacity for creative thinking and meeting the academic challenges will grace her and benefit her in the future.
Hello, my name is Sydney. I've been going to Oak Grove for 3 years now. I remember visiting Oak Grove and seeing how beautiful the campus was. Everyone seemed happy and the students and teachers got along in a great environment. I came to Oak Grove in 6th grade, and it was my very first time going to a new school. I was extremely nervous. I thought it was going to be very hard to meet people and to fit in, but I was proven wrong. The whole class was so nice, and I felt like I had made some great friends even on the first day. I learned at Oak Grove, students and teachers were equally important to each other. I had Jim Bailey as my first teacher at Oak Grove, and it was one of the most amusing years for me. I learned about our universe and that there's a balance between school and fun. We were constantly doing fun science experiments and trying new things every day. I got the opportunity to learn guitar, to make my own canvas to paint on, and I was able to go do gardening and go on camping trips. My first year at Oak Grove was very memorable, thanks to Jim, Christy, Aaron, and Elena. The first day of 7th grade had arrived. I somehow knew it was going to be a great year. I came into the year being nervous, and I came out being more independent than ever. I learned that I am braver than I thought I was, and that I could accomplish anything if I set my mind to it. During the junior high, I learned a new love for math that I would never have if it had not been for Ron. 7th grade was full of new experiences for me. For the first time, I went on a plane without my family. Going to Wyoming was one of those turning points for me. We worked at BDU's farm, and I really enjoyed that. This spring, we had a chance to do apprenticeships through Karen. The year ended way too fast, and the next thing I knew, we were on the stage playing our last song in 7th grade. Thinking that I was an 8th grader was exciting. I now enjoyed math, and I was able to write more in depth. I knew the year would be hard, but really fun. During the year in science, we learned about deconstruction. In math, we worked on new problems. In humanities, we learned about Islam and ancient China. I feel that this year at Oak Grove has been the best for me. I've learned so much, and I've had a great time doing it. We went on a gateway trip with Karen and went to some beautiful places. We had gardening with Old MacDonald, and he gave us driving lessons. Most importantly, I made some lifelong friends. All in all, 8th grade was an amazing year full of memories that I can go on and on about. Now I'd like to take a moment to thank some people. Thank you, Ron, for giving me a new love of math and having the patience to teach me. You've been an amazing teacher. Thank you, Deborah, for unlocking my love of writing and teaching me to enjoy the world of books. Thank you, Karen, for teaching me to be heart smart. I know that'll come in handy someday. Thank you, Bo, for putting up with my lack of PE spirit. Thank you, Mr. Clumpy, and all your cousins for making me laugh whenever I see you all. Thank you, Zell, for keeping me positive and always being by my side. Thank you, Felicity, for making me laugh no matter the time or place. Good luck next year. I'm going to miss you. Thank you, Gwen, for being the first friend I ever had at Oak Grove. Thank you, Nayeli, for being our squirrel and watching from the rocks. Thank you, Chloe, for being the best inside joke keeper and believing in charcoal rocks. Thank you to my class for being the most wonderful group of people I've ever met. Thank you, Dee Dee, for being my fairy godmother. And finally, thank you, Mom and Dad, for having me go to Oak Grove and letting me have these wonderful experiences. Thank you for always encouraging and believing in me. I love you. Though it is hard to say I'll be leaving Oak Grove, I feel that it has prepared me for my next few years. Next year I'll be going to OVS, but I feel Oak Grove will always be in my heart. Thank you.
Gwen has blessed us with her enthusiasm for life, love for projects/glitter, and her willingness to get involved in everything. She buzzes with creative ideas and is always at the front of the group attacking new adventures with a zestful energy. Gwen is a talented individual, and there is no doubt that she will approach her next quest with exhilaration and passion.
A decade and 1 year. That's how long I've been at Oak Grove School, and I wouldn't change a thing. The memories, experiences, and friendships I have made will stay with me forever. Even though I'm only moving across the campus, it will still be a big change to me. I've been on the elementary side of Oak Grove for 8 years. That's more than half of my life. When I was younger, I didn't really realize just how special Oak Grove is. We call our teachers by their first names and only have 15 people in our class, which seemed normal to me, until I met people that at their previous schools, there could be hundreds of people in their grade, not just 15, and that you had to call your teachers by your last names, which was normal for them, but seemed completely absurd to me. Now I'd like to share one of my favorite stories from a camping trip at Oak Grove that helped form our class. In 6th grade, we went on the annual SESP camping trip. It was the second to last day, and we were going for a hike up to some small falls. The trail was about 2.5 feet wide, at least that's what it felt like, and poison oak covered both sides. The hike there was about 1.5 miles, and the trail was overlooking a valley with a river running through it. When we got to the little falls, after eating lunch, we all immediately started climbing up them, more like walking up a staircase of rocks. Not too long after, one of my classmates fell into the water. It was a pretty overcast day, so the weather wasn't the warmest. So the water wasn't the warmest. After that, he hiked back with one of the teachers who had come with us on the trip to dry off. After spending a couple hours at the falls, we decided it was time to head back, and this is when the light showers started. The majority of us had brought rain ponchos, so we put those on, and good thing we did, because after we started hiking back to the camp, it started to rain harder, and gradually the rain turned to hail. We were less than halfway back when the trails had become muddy and wet. Of course, this was one day of the trip where I hadn't worn my waterproof shoes. It was cold and wet, and there were about 15 unhappy 6th graders walking back in the hail and rain. There was a point where I was pretty sure I couldn't feel my legs, and near the end there was a small stream we had crossed over in the beginning by jumping on rocks to get across. But by the end of the hike, pretty much everyone went feet first, walking through the water. It was faster, and we couldn't feel our legs anyway. When we came walking back after the 1.5 miles of rain and hail, we see our classmate who had hiked back earlier sitting in one of the school vans with the heater on, dry and warm, laughing in an I win sort of way. Even though this was a pretty terrible moment, it will remain one of my fondest memories because this shared experience brought our class together and is now something we can still laugh and talk about to this day. Without Oak Grove, I would have never been on this trip or the other amazing trips that went more smoothly, until we missed our flight in Utah. These trips have allowed me to learn not only about the environment and ecosystem where I live, but other types of environments in Wyoming and Utah. The trips also let us learn, but also give us a chance to bond with the other members of the junior high. Some of these crazy experiences have been the best of my life, and I would never change them. Even though the trips are over, the memories will always be with me. And with that, I would like to start with my thank yous. You better brace yourself, it's a couple pages. Okay. First, I'd like to start with my parents. Mom, thank you for always encouraging me and helping with all the endless projects and ideas, and seeing any time we were in the car together. Dad, thank you for being an inspiration for me to start photography, and I love all the little trips we have together. Thank you for letting me attend such an amazing school. I love you both. Emily, thank you for being such an amazing older sister and inspiring me to be a better artist, as well as agreeing to help me dye my hair, no matter how wacky the color is. Clark, thank you for always being by my side, literally, and singing classic rock songs and ska on every trip. Chloe, thank you for being the creative, brave, and kind person you are and not being afraid to express that, and helping me realize that I shouldn't be afraid either. Also for always recording me whenever I sing Detroit Rock City. Anna, thank you for sticking with me since preschool. You have the most wonderful and wacky sense of fashion. Also thank you for always asking me how I'm doing in all of the spontaneous group hugs. You both are my closest friends, and I truly think we will always stay connected. Also, I'd like to thank you both for joining me in all of my random singing and taking some of the most unflattering surprise pictures of each other. I still laugh over past memories of our times together, and I can't wait to laugh over more. Thank you, Sydney, for always talking in art and music, especially about some of our gruggly paintings. Also thanks to Jules, Zella, and Hannah for being with me since preschool. To my 8th grade class, I am very happy that I got the chance to bond with you all during our various trips, and thanks for putting up with the numerous jokes, especially Nayeli for showing me the guacamole can have some spicy stuff. I'd also like to thank Cassius for always catching me in some of my most clumsy moments. I'm thankful I didn't pull a Gwenchus up on the stage. Next, I'd like to thank some of my favorite teachers that I've had here. Krista, thank you for always singing in the morning and putting on the most memorable Gold Rush play I have ever seen / been a part of. Jim, thank you for teaching me all different aspects of science. I still remember the treacherous day when I cleaned your storage closet full of past experiments. Christy and Mia, thank you for helping me discover a love and passion for art. Aaron, thank you for helping me grow as a musician throughout the years. Good luck finding someone who has more songs than me. Elena, thank you for teaching me the most Spanish I've ever learned in 1 year and making it fun, as well as putting on such an amazing Costa Rica trip that I was lucky to be a part of. Deborah, thank you for being the best 5th and 7th grade teacher that I could ask for. You taught me how to appreciate writing and is now something that I love to do. Also, thank you for all the fun projects we do. Ron, thank you for always having fun and creative science projects and teaching me math in a way that was fun, as well as encouraging my creativity in the classroom. Bo, thank you for making PE a really fun part of my day and helping me and Hannah arrange to practice with the girls' volleyball team. And lastly, I'd like to thank my Bob, my grandmother, who is unfortunately not with us. But thank you for all the Geronimo Stilton books you read to me and coming to every one of my dance recitals and performances that you could. I would not have been here at Oak Grove as long as I have if it weren't for you. All of the manners, among other things you have taught me, will be forever inside me. So with that, I thank you.
Chloe Madison Knights is really a disguised first-class nature spirit. Whether climbing trees, collecting insects, naming plants, or studying rocks, Chloe enjoys anything as long as it's outside. Leaping, climbing, laughing, shrieking, Chloe's spirit soars without walls. Her deep curiosity and intent for fairness, her common sense life skills and crafts, all these make it undoubtable that her good humor will serve her well in high school as long as she sits near a window.
Great, another school I have to look at. I thought as my mom and I drove up the street from Ojai Valley School. My summer vacation was coming to a close and the last thing I wanted to be doing was moving to Ojai, not to mention finding a new school. I shrunk down to the passenger seat, thinking how the heck I'd be able to deal with a whole bunch of new people. I was quite the introvert. Little did I know the fantastic memories and experiences that would occur from this school. My name is Chloe Madison Knights, and this is the story of my junior high experience at Oak Grove School. I have only been at Oak Grove for 2 years, but it seems like so much longer than that. When I first came, I was very terrified. At the end of the summer vacation, the beginning of 7th grade, I had just moved from Santa Barbara to San Francisco to Ojai. I knew practically no one and was feeling very insecure and out of place. That was until I made friends with a few people and got to know my teachers more. I had a great time most of the time after that. I used to hate school, but now I was enjoying it. Not only was the campus an amazing place, but it was also because of my friends being there, and the learning style kept me interested. I loved doing research projects on different places and their myths and beliefs that came with them in humanities. Thinking of new ways to live more economically and conquering difficult math problems with Ron was challenging but enjoyable once you finally understood it. Learning about someone gross but good to know topics with Karen and advisory was interesting sometimes. Stretching canvases, painting, and drawing in art class was cool with Mia. The junior high camping trips were a blast. From splashing in the waves and watching the talent show at night from El Capitan State Beach, to squinting at microscopic snow crystals and falling on your face because your snowshoe got stuck in Jackson Hole, Wyoming was fantastic. Our most recent trip to Moab, Utah for me was different. There are still numerous amount of things that are quite exciting, such as looking at petroglyphs and river rafting, but I got sick the last 3 days and was miserable for a while. Karen's rite of passage trip was fun but rather unusual. Even though the bug biting was a problem, getting to go for a 3-hour hike in a beautiful canyon where you could drink fresh but not dangerous water from the springs was fantastic. And there was a waterfall that had water that was really nice to swim in. The school year has ended way too quickly and I wish we had more time. I'll miss the junior high, the 7th grade, and the teachers very much, but I'm excited to move on into the Oak Grove's junior high school. I will have new teachers, new and old friends, and the learning experience will be different, but I'm ready for the transition. Oak Grove has made my junior high time a good one. I'm truly grateful. And I'd like to thank the people who helped me become the person I am today. Without these wonderful individuals, my life would be without all the happiness, love, and support they gave me. Thank you to my teachers, Deborah and Ron. You have made my learning experience at Oak Grove an enjoyable one, even when you gave us extra homework. Thank you, Ron, for boosting my self-confidence and my math skills and being a great teacher. I love watching your facial expressions when you talk about football or some sport with the class. Sadly, next year, Deborah will not be teaching humanities to the junior high, but I want her to know that the memories and adventures that she brought to the junior high will always remain at Oak Grove and in my heart. I love you, Deborah, and thank you for being such a loving and supporting teacher. Then, of course, what is school without your wacky friends? Thank you, Anna, for accepting me the way I am and for always supporting me when I need a shoulder to lean on. I will never forget our strange conversations about some random weird book, Neapolitan ice cream, or how well a whipped cream can would be in a fight against spiders. Thank you, Gwen, for being your own person, pursuing your interests in a way that inspired me to pursue my own. I will always treasure memories of us going crazy over an unexpected plot twist in book or movie, or just belting out a song. Thank you, Zell and Sydney, for going to the main house to eat the snacks there, set up by Michael, and for always having a plentiful supply of gum and food. You two were always fun to talk to. Thank you, Ashton, for having an amazing D&D class. They really brought out my creativity. And also, I felt like I got to know the high schoolers better. Thank you, Anna Willis and Michael and Deborah, for cooking us amazing meals almost every single day and for having infinite patience, most of the time, with us when we were talking in the lunch line. Thank you, Jake, Old McDonald, Clumpy, Mr. Croppenponds, Simone, or whoever it was, for being someone who would give me rides in the morning and drop me off in the afternoon after having rather hilarious conversations with Jachari, Anna, and I. Above all, I would like to thank my parents for loving me, caring for me, and giving me the best possible life since I was born. You've given me so many amazing opportunities to be myself, and were the people who got me here to where I am standing now. So thank you, Sonia and Simon. Even though we have fought, I will always love you and be grateful for what you have done for me. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. By Maya Angelou.
Leon has really established a place for himself at Oak Grove School and has made the most out of his time by developing strong relationships and deepening his academic capacity. He treats his fellow students and teachers with the utmost respect and is always there to lend a helping hand. A lover of books and the humanities loft, his intellectual curiosity has been a gift in the classroom. There is no doubt that his skills and his generosity will continue to benefit him and others in the future.
Erst die Hose, dann die Schuhe. By Werner von Brösel. I live by that quote every single day of my life. For those of you who do not know, my name is Leon Cartlieri. I've been at Oak Grove School for approximately 1,940,185,000 seconds, or 32,486,400 minutes, or 541,440 hours, or 365 days, 12 months, or 1 year. I switched schools from Cabrillo and Ventura to Oak Grove School in Ojai. I switched because I had 36 kids in my class, and I had one teacher that I couldn't get along with. When I raised my hand, the teacher wouldn't call on me because you could only be called on once per class. With that rule in place, at the beginning of the year, I would raise my hand all the time. Towards the middle of the year, I wouldn't raise my hand that much, and at the end of the year, I gave up altogether. I didn't even bother to raise my hand because I knew I would never be called on. When I switched to Oak Grove School from Cabrillo, I had 2 friends, which is surprising because there were over 300 students at Cabrillo. Now, after 1 year at Oak Grove School, I have several friends. I'd like to give my thanks to Kobe, Kodo, and Clark for always being able to make me laugh. I'd also like to give special thanks to my friend Charlie and my friend Ravi for always giving me the homework or just being someone to talk to. The thing that is special to me about Oak Grove School is how open and in touch with nature everything is. Cabrillo was all steel and concrete, and not much life. I mean, there were a few patches of grass here and there and a few trees, but that was it. Here, there's lots of everything. Grass, trees, flowers, cool people, yummy food, nice teachers, and clean, fresh air. That leads me to another thanks. A big thanks to the kitchen crew for making such amazing food every day. One extraordinary opportunity at this amazing school includes field trips. At Cabrillo Middle School, I had 1 field trip in all the 2 years I've been there, and that was to the beach. Here at Oak Grove, I've had 2 field trips, and they are memories that I will always keep. I went to El Capitan in the beginning of the school year, and just a few weeks ago, I went to Moab, Utah. That was a trip I will never forget. On that note, I would also like to thank Ron and Deborah for accompanying us on the Moab trip. Wait a minute. Ron had to get a concussion the night before we left. Oak Grove School has changed me in a few ways. One way is that it has made me smarter. In math, I learned how to solve and convert math equations. In humanities, I learned how to write essays. And in history, I learned about the Ottoman Empire. I would like to thank Ron and Deborah for being amazing teachers in my 8th grade year. As I finish off here, I would also like to thank my mom and dad for helping me and pushing me further than I've ever been before.
Charlie has boundless energy, an adventurous spirit, and an athletic prowess that have made memorable moments in the junior high. He has shined in his performance of Jacob the Jew at the Voices of the Medieval Village and has inspired everyone with his devotion to playing guitar. There is no doubt that his dedication and active energy will support him in meeting any obstacle he chooses.
Do what you love and try not to look at what others occupy themselves with. Rodney Mullen. Hello, my name is Charlie Lombardo. This is my first year here at Oak Grove. I remember my first day at school here. I was terrified. I wasn't sure if I would enjoy it here or have many friends. That was a constant fear of mine, switching from homeschool to public school. Throughout the school year, I made a decent amount of friends at the school. I'm glad that me and my friends all share something in common. We're all pretty lame, which is not a bad thing. Being lame is cool. I want to thank my friend Jackson Morris. If it weren't for him, I would have never went to this school. I would also like to thank my friends Leah and Robbie, aka Leonard and Ethan, for helping me get through the school year, and Clark for teaching me songs on the guitar, and Gwen for attempting to teach me how to play piano. Thank you to my teachers Ron for making math class fun and enjoyable, Deborah for being a good teacher and helping me out a lot, Aaron for giving me a love to play guitar, and also with Let's Go Surfing Again. And Bo for making PE fun all the time and laughing at my stupid jokes. Mia for teaching me fun stuff in art class, and Karen for being patient with me. Well, thank you to all my teachers for being patient with me. I want to thank Brooks from the first grade for teaching me what it's like to have a crazy little brother for a year. Lastly, I want to thank my parents for putting me in the school. I don't have a lot of memories at the school because I was only here for 1 year, but the ones I did have were pretty good, such as trying to teach Robbie how to surf on the El Capitan trip, and finding some legit spots to hang out and look at the ocean with Leon, and watching Kodo make a house for a little plant in Moab. And when our flight got delayed 3 times, that was definitely a lot of fun. Also, sitting next to Kobe on the plane, hoping it wouldn't crash. We kissed the plane good luck before we went on. And Clark definitely helped me with that because he told me that the plane had a good chance of crashing. Thank you for that one, Clark. I'm going to miss this school, but I'm very excited to be going to a bigger school next year. That's all I can really say. Other than that, catch you on the flippity flip.
Hannah Schindell's voice of kindness, her common sense, resound throughout the junior high. She calls things as they are, feels deep empathy, cares for friends with good humor and sensitivity. Hannah is a first-class athlete, a well-organized student, a musician, artist, and actress. She sets goals and accomplishes them. She seeks help and support when she needs it. She has skills, personal integrity, and there's just no doubt that her strength will serve her to enjoy high school without succumbing to its stresses or pressure.
Hello, my name is Hannah and I've been at Oak Grove since I can remember. I came to Oak Grove School 11 years ago in preschool. I don't remember much from those days, but throughout my time here, I have made a lot of memories. Oak Grove has made my schooling experience amazing. I could try and explain my whole 11 years here, but that would take way too long. Oak Grove has taught me many things, not only about learning, but also about myself. This school has shaped me into the person I am today, and I couldn't thank anyone more. Looking back on my past years here, I remember making mud balls in kindergarten, jumping rope in first grade, being the queen of pink in second, writing novels in third, reading 25 books in fourth, and making dances in fifth, listening to Taylor Swift's album in sixth, and being the cuss word police in seventh. And this year, figuring out what my years to come will look like. I've always liked to plan ahead, but at this point I can't, because I'm very unfamiliar with the next years of my life. Even though I've gone to almost every event for the high school, it still feels so uncomfortable. Even though I will be continuing my journey at Oak Grove, I have never felt so unsure about what's to come. I want to share with you the impact Oak Grove has had on me over the past 11 years. Coming here at such a young age, I don't have that great story about coming from a compacted public school and finding myself here at Oak Grove. I've had the luxury of being here my whole life and never had to deal with big class sizes, calling the teachers by their last names, and not having the chance to learn outdoors. I couldn't tell you all the unique things about Oak Grove because I can't put it into words. So take a second to look around you. You can see the birds, the lizards, and the gorgeous trees surrounding us. I take for granted these beautiful surroundings that I call my school every day. One of the reasons I am excited for high school is because I will be continuing on to the next stage of my life with my Oak Grove family, Anna, Gwen, Clark, Chloe, and Nayeli. This memory is one of the key components to my year, and I think it describes my junior high experience perfectly. Moab, Utah river rafting was one of the coldest experiences I've ever faced. While paddling down the vast Colorado River with my classmates, the wind sent a spiral of cold air through our shivering bodies. Floating down on a bright red boat in 40-degree weather was definitely not the best experience at the time. I was not psyched about this experience, so I had a really bad attitude. I wouldn't stick my arm in the water because I was so angry that my dad sent me on this trip. My friends on the boat saw I was struggling, so they gave me some dry clothes and let me lay down. Oak Grove students create a supportive environment wherever the adventure may take us. I was so thankful that my classmates helped me out that day. Even though this memory sounds kind of silly now, it meant a lot to me then. It really shows the close bond between us, and even though some people are leaving, we will always have it. I want to thank all the teachers and staff at Oak Grove for making this school a great place to grow up and learn. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for sending me to this amazing school and all the support you have given me throughout my life. Thank you, Jonas, for being the best little brother anyone can ask for, even though sometimes you can be a pest. Thank you to all my friends for always being there for me when I need you. I want to end my 8th grade year and my speech with a quote by Buddha. Be kind to all creatures, for this is the true religion.
Nayeli is a little dynamo. She is a steadfast, conscientious student and strives for excellence in all that she does. She takes self-improvement seriously and is always open to feedback as a means to growth. Her positive attitude and her warm smile have brightened all of our lives. It is without a doubt that Nayeli's kind spirit and academic diligence will carry her into high school.
Hey, it's Nayeli. I've been going to Oak Grove for only 2 years, but I've learned and experienced so much. I remember when I first saw the school, I thought, Oak Grove, what a funny name. I then decided to look more into the school. Little did I know I would end up loving it. This school has shaped me to the person I am today. If it weren't for this school, I could have never imagined myself giving a speech to hundreds of people, but here I am. For most of my life, I've gone to a public school, so changing schools in 7th grade was an exciting and scary transition. I thought Oak Grove was going to be the same as any other school. I would still dread going to school every day, but Oak Grove made it so I'm excited to go to school and learn new things. This place is like no other. I mean, what other school has a mindfulness class, lets you call your teachers by their first names, or lets you play on the playground up until 9th grade? Ever since I came to the school, they have encouraged me to embrace the outdoors, and I have. I appreciate how this school is surrounded by trees and nature. I think it creates an environment in which I can concentrate on my work. From these past 2 years, I have become much more comfortable and confident with myself. From the teachers, I have also learned how to ask for help when I need it. One of the other things I love about Oak Grove is the people. I have created many friendships here at Oak Grove, unlike any others. Everyone at Oak Grove is accepting and very kind. At first, I was nervous about making friends, but as soon as I stepped into the classroom, my worries seemed to disappear as everyone came up to me and greeted me with warm smiles on their faces. I love that our class is so close and they're not just people I'm forced to spend the day with, but I can safely say they're all my friends. I will be sad that most of the people in my class are parting ways for high school. It won't ever be the same. I've been through so much with this class. I remember last year on a trip to Wyoming, I experienced my first plane ride with my 7th grade class. As the plane accelerated and lifted off the ground, everyone would ask me how I was doing and made sure I was okay. On the Wyoming trip was also the first time I went cross-country skiing up a mountain. We climbed uphill for a very long time, and by the time we reached the top, we were both proud of ourselves but tired at the same time. Or in the beginning of this year, during the El Cap trip, was my first time being stung by a bee. But the most interesting experience I've had was more recently when we went on our Moab trip. It was the first time I river rafted on the Colorado River in 30-degree weather, and soonly being told we missed our flight and we had to stay an extra day. I would have never survived these things without my friends and teachers. The teachers at Oak Grove are also one of the many reasons why the school is so great. They are understanding and will help you whenever you need it. You won't be able to find teachers as funny or as kind as the ones here at Oak Grove. They can help you learn and exceed academically in a way that's both educational and fun. Even though I will only be across the campus, it will still be very different with new teachers and lots of new classmates. But I know I will be able to strive and be happy here. Now I can keep talking about how much I love the school, but that would make my speech too long, so I'll skip to the end. First, I'd like to thank Clark and Cassius for always making me laugh. We will always be too cool for you. Thank you, Allison, for always being there to talk to. Thank you, Sienna, for always talking about Harry Potter with me. Fernando, you're such a good friend. Thank you. Thank you, Gwen, for embracing my love of guacamole with spicy stuff in it. Thank you, Kobe and Sid, for always making me laugh. Thanks to everyone in my class for getting me through the year. Thank you, Karen, for letting me explore new topics. Thank you, Bo, for always making me play even when I didn't want to, and for teaching me that Oak Grove wins. Thank you, Erin, for having the patience for our class and teaching me to love music even more. Thank you, Mia, for letting us express ourselves through art. Thank you, Deborah, for teaching us about history and letting us joke around in class. Thank you, Ron, for being such a good math teacher and for always coming in early when I need help with my homework. Thank you to my little sister for all those times you made me laugh when I was in a bad mood. And lastly, thanks to my parents who made it so I could come to this school. I'm so thankful for all that they do. I hope I can make them proud for the next few years to come. I hope everyone leaving Oak Grove has a wonderful high school experience, and to those coming next year, I hope the next 4 years will be as great as the last two. I'm going to end my speech with a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Thank you.
Kobe. Adventurous spirit, strong mind, extensive life experiences have enriched the junior high community. His playful personality makes him a compassionate and enjoyable friend. He is an incredible individual, and there is no doubt that he will approach his next quest with an open mind, heart, and soul. And to Kobe, go Cowboys.
Hello, my name is Kobe Skillern. I've been at Oak Grove since the start of 6th grade. I was very nervous about my Oak Grove school debut, but I was welcomed by Jim Bailey and Mako Wimbury. Their friendships ensured that I had a very successful 6th grade year. Some of my most memorable moments came from my 6th grade camping trip, when me, Mako's, and Gray's bags got stolen the first day of the trip, and the second to last day when it was handling I had nothing but a t-shirt and swim trunks. These experiences helped me to become more resilient and open to new changes. In the beginning of my 7th grade year, I only valued myself as a soccer player or a class clown. I never thought of myself as a student. I goofed off and never got any work done, and I never let my friends and classmates get any work done either. During this year, my mom, dad, Ron, and Deborah helped me to get organized, more focused, and start seeing myself as a better overall student. Some of the experience that stood out for me were becoming friends with Jackson and Elias. Jackson and I both love classic rock and agreed to only wear band t-shirts for the last 2 months of the school year. The love for frisbees and long conversations about the little things that make life so great brought me and Elias together. Although some of my relationships were more complicated than others, each one taught me something I would take with me. Showing up early, working hard, and staying organized continued to help prepare me for my 8th grade year. By my 8th grade year, I had set goals for myself and worked hard to achieve them. Academically, after setting my sights on Villanova Preparatory School, I started to see it 2 to 3 times a week to prep me for the admissions test. The hard work paid off, and I did well on the test. I was accepted to Villanova. Socially, I became part of a close circle of really great friends, such as Clark, Leon, Cotto, Fernando, Javier, Nayeli, Cassius, Charlie, Ravi, and Zilla. Thank you for being my twin. The times I spent with them in Moab, Utah, and on our camping trip to El Capitan were unforgettable. Athletically, I was lucky enough that Bo allowed me to practice with the high schoolers and to even play in the preseason games. That was really special for me because it included games against OVS, my older brother's school. I scored against him. Thank you both for that opportunity. My 8th grade year has helped shape me more than any other year so far. I would like to thank Ron for talking to me about sports and at the same time encouraging me to be involved in more than just sports. Thank you, Deborah, for talking to me about classic rock and helping me to become a better writer. Thank you, Karen, for teaching me all the ways to be hard smart and for answering all of my questions. Thank you, Aaron, for not only being my Spanish teacher, but for carrying my stage fright and fear of guitars. I can't leave without thanking Michael and the rest of the kitchen staff for feeding me the last 3 years, and Willem for being the headmaster of such a great school. Jim Bailey, thank you for inspiring me to be who I am. Last but not least, thank you, Mom and Dad, for always being there for me, emotionally, socially, athletically, and academically. Oak Grove, I will miss you, and I will leave you with the words of Robert Plant. Leaves are falling all around. It's time I was on my way. Thanks to you, I'm much obliged for such a pleasant day.
Anna Richardson's deep thinking and adventuring spirit take her on many excursions both in her imagination and real life. She enjoys asking out-of-the-box questions to her classmates and teachers. She's an artist, musician, and she composes creative works of all sorts. Her writing brings to life extraordinary characters and plots, and with her wry good humor, deep insights, her own twist to things, there's no doubt Anna will find things interesting and worth doing in high school. Way to go, Anna.
My name is Anna Richardson, and I have been at Oak Grove for 11 years. From the day I first took step on the campus to the moment I am reading the speech. To those of you listening in the audience, it may not seem like much, but in this moment, my entire world is about to change. 11 years is a long time to be at one school, but I remember every moment of it. From our first grade play, Peter Pan, all the way up to the recent trip to Utah. There's so many stories I could tell right now, but I have to keep it brief, because I know there are other people who want to talk. My Oak Grove story began at preschool, with Gwen, Clark, Jules, Hannah, and Zella. These were the people who have been at Oak Grove with me since day one. We would sing peace songs, make colorful crafts, and run to the baby oak tree. We made lemonade and apples, and then graduated by jumping through a hula hoop. I continued into kindergarten and again into elementary school. I remember so much about elementary school. The teachers who helped me learn and grow, the classmates who were always beside me, and the weird memories we all made together. I remember learning about rainforests, the gold rush, Native people, and American history. I remember making a galaxy cake in 6th grade and endlessly singing with Gwen. I remember all of the plays we did as a class and how much fun they were, and I remember how much I learned about myself. Then I went into junior high and it all changed. I was nervous because of how different I thought it would be. My parents and teachers told me junior high was a time of great change, and so I walked into my new classroom with dread. But I was wrong. Junior high was one of the funnest parts of my Oak Grove career. In 7th grade, I was in Deborah's class again, and I met one of my best friends, Chloe. I started math class with Ron and learned how to use variables and more advanced algebra. I read new books in humanities class and did many fun things with my other classmates. Then 8th grade came and I began to realize how close the year was ending. So much has happened in my time here and there is so much I wanted to say. Oak Grove has been my home for 11 years and it has taught me so much. Everybody here is part of the family. Now it's time to say my thanks. Thank you to all of my Oak Grove teachers for helping me in their subjects. Thank you to Ron, Deborah, Jim, Krista, Karen, and all of the others, because there are countless more. You helped me when I was struggling and always made sure I was giving it my best. You all taught me so much and I'm forever grateful. Thank you to my classmates for always being weird. There was never a dull moment when you're surrounded by the loudest people on campus. I want to thank my best friends, Chloe and Gwen. Thank you for always being there for me and making really, really bad jokes. Thanks for sharing my love of Harry Potter and laughing with me at the silliest things, like spiders and a can of whipped cream. Your confidence inspires me every day. You're both my best friends and the most amazing people I've ever met, and I'm so happy to be able to continue my Oak Grove story with you. To everybody else in my class, Sydney, Zella, Nayeli, Clark, Kodo, Kobe, Jules, Hannah, Fernando, Javier, Leon, and Charlie. I had the most amazing year with you all, and I'm so sad to see most of you go. I hope wherever you go, you do what makes you happy. And finally, I want to thank my family for always encouraging me to put my best foot forward. I love you guys more than words can say, but I'll try my best. Mom, you always helped me when I was stressed with homework, and you always said hello to me when I passed by the art room. Dad, you even offered to write my speech for me so we could watch La La Land together. Thank you for helping me with my math and walking me to school every other Friday. Thank you to Alex, even though I wasn't in your speech 2 years ago. You're the Shut up. You're the best brother I could have had, and look forward to being in high school with me. Thank you to all of the people who have helped me get to where I am. And now it's time for me to say goodbye to grade school. I will never forget all the adventures I had or the memories I made. Now I'll end my speech with the words of Confucius. Wherever you go, go with all of your heart.
Last but certainly not least. Jules Thompson has always demonstrated academic excellence and a true love for learning. Among her many qualities, she is a leader and a loyal friend. She is a devoted and accomplished tennis player, and her disciplined approach serves her well, both in and out of school. Jules has been a treasured member of our Oak Grove School community. There is no doubt that she will continue her success academically, socially, and physically in her new high school endeavors.
Lizard for life. That has been my goal since the first grade. To have gone to Oak Grove School my whole life and graduate 12th grade was the only way I thought I could receive this title. Even though I have a great fear of lizards, I wanted to have the name so I could impress people. I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm a lizard for life. It would be a huge accomplishment. I am Jules Thompson, and I have been at Oak Grove since preschool. Usually in 8th grade graduation speeches, people will talk about the moment they walked onto Oak Grove in a yellow dress in 3rd grade and how it changed their life. My story is a little different because I can't even remember if I could talk. All I remember is since then, Oak Grove has been my life. Thinking back on my years at Oak Grove, I was always happy. From playing dress up in kindergarten, to hair braiding trains in 3rd grade, to singing all the lyrics in Frozen in 5th grade, and to taking silly photo booth pictures in 7th grade, I treasure every single day. There hasn't been a morning where I've woken up and dreaded going to school, because going to school is going home. I was raised at Oak Grove School. 14 years of growing, learning, caring, and changing at Oak Grove has brought me where I am today, graduating 8th grade. In 4th grade, my class went camping at Montaña de Oro. I had a huge fear of being apart from my family. On the day we were departing for our campsite, everyone dragged their bikes with them into the van, and I dragged my sister. Since then, we have had numerous camping trips. Each camping trip, I've become more independent. I grew to the point where now I'm thankful for chances I get to travel independently. I like the thought of change, trying something new. I've experienced change throughout my life, although I would consider leaving Oak Grove and Ojai the largest change I will have to face. When I heard my family was moving to Colorado, I didn't really feel anything. I didn't know what to expect or how to deal with it, so I just pushed it to the back of my brain. After 2 months, it finally hit me. I was sitting in the cold raft with all of my classmates when I realized who I would be leaving behind. My home, my friends, and my family. It's sad to think that my Oak Grove memories will be coming to an end because it is all I've ever known. I'm scared of what the future holds for me, but I know I will always have memories and friends from Oak Grove. Dad, thank you for your enthusiasm for my class projects. Of course, I did all of the work myself. Mama, thank you for teaching me the art of patience and kindness. As you always say, nice matters. Brewster, you always bring something new and wacky. Life would be boring without you. Gemma, thank you for being there for me even though you were all the way across the country. Loli and Bob, thanks for always being there for me. Hina, you are my Japanese sister. Arigato. Fernando y Javier, ustedes siempre me han hecho compañía. Los voy a extrañar. Te amo. Bibiana and Tindy, thank you for being my best friends. You two inspire me daily. Thank you to the rest of my family and friends, and to all the teachers, staff, and students at Oak Grove, thank you for making this place feel like home to me. Now, at the finish line of my Oak Grove experience, I understand the true meaning of a lizard for life. It's not the years spent here, the accomplishments, nor the grades. Being a lizard for life is about being a part of a community of intelligent, compassionate, and hardworking people. I know that the Oak Grove School community will always have a place in my heart, and that is what makes me an Oak Grove lizard for life.
As we round out the afternoon, I wanted to say real quickly a congratulations to the entire class of our graduating 8th graders of 2017. And I also wanted to say thank you. What a pleasure to sit and listen to such articulate, poised young men and women. As the director of our secondary program here at Oak Grove,
I wish these next sentences actually applied to all 15 of you, but for those of you who are joining us in the high school, on behalf of the entire high school staff, I want to say welcome. We're thrilled to have you, and we can't wait for things to get started. We've got some really fun, meaningful kind of tweaks and updates to the high school program next year. And before, those of you who are not joining us, if your life is taking another path, of course we want to say thank you for all your contributions over the years to Oak Grove, and best of luck not only in these 4 next high school years, but in all of your future endeavors, right? There is one remaining announcement, but before we do that, could I ask, would everyone please join me in a final round of applause for our 2017 Oak Grove 8th grade graduates. If you guys would go ahead and join us in line here, this is a great photo opportunity. When photos are finished, please join us in the art building behind us for a quick reception, okay?
Good idea. 2 rows, imagine 2 rows. Smile, guys. Yes, do something. Smile. Woohoo! What's the exit?
Hug him, Hannah. Here, Bub, come get a hug.
Oh my God!
Who is she?
So good.
We also want to announce that there will be a real quick 8th grade slideshow in about 20 minutes in the junior high computer lab. Join us. Thanks.
I got some